Bodine52, how are you folks? I hope you are well. And you know, I've been thinking, I was watching a vlog of a friend who almost got in a motorcycle accident from a car pulling over on her. And I think every time that we back out of our garages, you know, there's risk. But I do think there's a couple things that we can do, or I know there's things we can do to make it a little bit less. I'm going to go over the 5 that I think of when I'm out on the road. The bikes are out everywhere. Hello, folks. A great segue into what I want to talk about today. By the way, it is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Southeast Michigan. I am on Big Mama, my 2018 ultralimited. Just a crazy, crazy, beautiful day and bikes everywhere. And you know, that is one of the things that you know, everybody's been kind of cooped up and maybe not riding any, maybe riding some. But I want to talk about the obstacles or the 5 things from a safety perspective that I think of. Now, I am not a McRider. If you follow his channel, I think it's McRider. I am not Dan the fireman. These guys preach and understand safety a lot better than me. But from Bodine, a common guy, I'm going to tell you about the 5 things that I'm thinking about. And maybe I'll come up with another one. We'll see. We'll see. We'll count them. We'll count them out. So this is kind of how I think when I'm out riding. So I want to start by saying I'm talking about when I am on the road. So the first thing, of course, is before I leave, I want to make sure that I got the right gear. And I would like to say I go through the checks on the motorcycle before I leave, but I don't. I do go out at least once every couple weeks and check the tire pressure. I definitely do that. But that's starting off. We're making the assumption that you've done that stuff and you got the right gear on. And you know, the right gear is a matter of opinion, I guess, at times. But the right gear for me is boots, helmet, gloves. I happen to wear blue jeans and a jacket. But while I'm out on the road, you know, one of the things that I'm always focusing on is really the pavement. What type of pavement do I have? Right now you can see this is, I wouldn't say not bad at all. There's some spots. Sometimes you can't see those spots as you're coming up to a curve like this, which isn't really anything big. But you just don't know. So I am always looking at that and the uneven part of it. So I'm really trying to pay attention to that. So many times, you know, you look at something and it's not right when you're riding a dirt bike and you kind of go, okay, I see the track I want to go on, just go for it, right? I mean, you really, really got to pay attention to the pavement. So I do a lot of that. And I try to do that when I'm obviously looking ahead just to see any obstacles. And, you know, being careful that I'm not too close to somebody. I did a video maybe almost a year ago where I think I was riding really too close to somebody and some roadkill came up and I couldn't avoid it. I actually rode over it. And it really, really, quite frankly, taught me some things. So I remember that because I had Mrs. Bodine on the back of the bike. So, you know, you should never ride stupid, but if you're going to ride stupid, don't do it with somebody on the back of the motorcycle. That's number 1. I would say that the next thing, I guess that would be number 3, is intersections. Intersections, and I'm more specific. I was out the other day with Mrs. Bodine, and we were riding, and I was on kind of a straightaway that had a light, and I could see the light was green for the longest time. And, you know, in my mind, I'm just going, it's going to change, it's going to change, it's going to change. So what are you going to do, right? You're going to slow down, number one, in case it does change so you can stop safely. And then once you're making the decision to go, you got to go, right? And I will tell you, not when I'm going through a light at a speed, 40 or 50 or whatever it is, but when I'm slower, even if I have a green light, I am still looking to my left, still looking to my right, because, I'd hate to be laying on the ground on the motorcycle and somebody just looks at the paramedic and police and just says, I didn't see him, right? I didn't see him. Meanwhile, we're tore up. So I really pay attention to that. I really try to pay attention more and more around my surroundings. Example, this white truck that's in front of me, long way in front of me, have plenty of time to make decisions. And if he stops, I'm looking at this car coming at me, and I'm also looking up at this hill I'm coming to. And I will tell you, I know this stop sign is tough for a couple reasons. Traffic's coming quick on this road, and there always seems to be gravel here. So I'm always super careful pulling up to this, as you can see I am being right now. Sometimes I will try to stop a little bit short. And I actually don't take the normal turn of the handlebars that I would here, because I just, quite frankly, don't want to drop it, right? Or like that wide turn I took there. That guy waved like this, so I had to do the same. He was a little older than me, respecting, right? So, definitely I am always looking out in front of me, to the sides, and in my mirrors for sure. I want to see what's coming up behind me, especially as I'm sitting at a light. I will tell you, I bought these dual vision mirrors. Harley should actually send me about $1,000 gift card, because I will tell you, and I'm not kidding, there has been 20 people at least since I did a video on these and while I ride that send me a note going, where'd you get those mirrors? And I got to tell you what, not only do I think they're stylish, but this little section here, you can see so much more behind you. I'm a firm believer that they've already helped me out of a situation. So I'm always definitely looking at my surroundings. And then I think the other thing, nobody wants to get T-boned in anything unless you're cooking on the grill, and always looking at people that are coming out. I mean, kids, adults, everybody's texting nowadays. And that's the part that kind of scares you, right? I mean, we're taking an inherent risk when we go out, and we train as much as we can. I need to do more practice. I'm committed this year to that. I'm also committed to trying to stay more lane focused, right? Sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, riding into, so you can get out of the way if you need to. So I'm trying to be a little more vigilant of that. I'm starting to watch I think it was HDR that said sometimes he'll watch his videos just to check out how he's riding, right? How does he take in the curves? Is he screwing around with his lane position? All that type of stuff. So, but I'm always like this truck here, watching this guy pull out. And the one thing that I learned that they taught me, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but maybe there's a few people that are new to riding, that I'll never forget when I took the riding academy at Harley Davidson, which you should do if you are going to start riding, whether it's Harley Davidson Riding Academy or another accredited one, you should, is never watch the person in the vehicle, watch their wheels, right? So if the wheels are moving, I find myself, I do that in my car even now, or in my truck, is I'm watching the wheels and seeing if those things are coming out, and then I'll know that the vehicle's moving, right? So, again, watching my surroundings, watching people that are pulling out, trying to continue to work on my lane position, trying to make sure I'm taking those curves right, because at the end of the day, not only do you want to be a better tactical rider, you want to be safe. And here's the last thing, and I didn't put this on my list, and I'm thinking this is more than 5, but maybe it's 6 or 7. But the one I was thinking while I was riding is that, especially nowadays, we got so much stuff on our minds, all the crap going on, see this guy here, I'm like, what are you doing, dude, right? So if he's not pulling out, I'm going to want to get by him as quick as I can. Is making sure you are in the right mind frame to ride. And I know that one of the reasons that we ride is so we can clear our heads. But I do find myself sometimes, I don't want to say in la-la land, but thinking about something. Whether it's going to work tomorrow, whether it's about my next ride, whether it's about something that's going on with our kids, anything like that. I think it's just critical that we make sure that we are in the right mind frame to ride. And I'm the king of that, right? I have to physically, or mentally I should say, stop myself and go, focus on what you're doing, not only from a safety perspective, but from an enjoyment perspective, right? Speaking of safety, we could probably do a whole video on these roundabouts, couldn't we? Which I was actually a part of this roundabout, believe it or not, when I was on the planning commission for the city of Chelsea years ago. It didn't used to be a roundabout, and there are many people killed right there, and that roundabout has saved a lot of lives. And I love riding my motorcycle around it for some reason. So, but that is it, folks. Like I said, there are a lot of channels around safety. Do me a favor. So here's another same situation. Somebody riding a bike, even though there's more of a place for him to ride on the side. A bunch of motorcycles coming. Traffic picking up. I'm getting ready to go into a town that slows me down. So there's a lot of things to think about, and I just want to make sure that my mind is always as clear as it possibly can be. So, hey, folks, there might be some, those that are loyal and watch my channel, thank you for that. But there may be some folks that are newer to riding or just checking this because I have safety in the video title. Do me a favor, leave some things in the comment section and some of your favorite channels that people can go to continue to be a better rider, and things that you do to try to make yourself even safer than you are. So, details. Of course, Mrs. Bodine and I have sort of taken to our fire pit since we were out there the night before too, and I was in the family room and she was in the kitchen doing something, and she's like, all right, folks, that is it for me today. Thanks for checking in. Be safe on and off the motorcycle. I care about you and appreciate you checking in to Bodine 52. Be safe, folks. Bye-bye.